It's 3:17 a.m. You wake up thirsty, that deep, bone-dry thirst that won't let you ignore it. Barefoot, you shuffle to the kitchen, the icy floor shocking your heels. You pull open the fridge door slowly. That cold white light spills out, washing over your sleepy face. And there it is, between last night's leftovers and the half-used butter tub, a silent killer, hiding in plain sight. The International Agency for Research on Cancer has placed this everyday item in its highest risk category, Group 1. A known human carcinogen, the same category as cigarettes and asbestos. Studies tracking over 500,000 people from the UK Biobank and NIH show that every 50 grams consumed daily raises your colorectal cancer risk by 18%, and most people consume 47% more than the safe limit. Over the next few minutes, I'll reveal exactly what this food is, and at the end, you'll be shocked by how obvious it was and how no one warned you sooner. Food number 7, potatoes. Yes, potatoes. The humble, reliable, versatile potato. The one you buy by the 5-pound bag. The foundation of countless meals. Mashed, roasted, fried, baked, boiled, hashed. The food so universal, so unpretentious, so utterly benign that you'd never think twice about where you store it. And yet, the way most people store potatoes, that innocent, well-intentioned habit of putting them in the refrigerator to make them last longer, is actually turning this wholesome food into a silent toxin factory. The poison's name is acrylamide. Here's why your refrigerator is the villain in this story. Below 46 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 8 degrees Celsius for those of us who don't live in the United States, something happens inside a potato, a transformation. The natural starches that make up the potato's cellular structure begin converting into reducing sugars. It's a slow, invisible process. You can't see it, you can't smell it, you certainly can't taste it, not yet. But the change is happening nonetheless, right there in your crisper drawer, right next to the carrots and celery you bought for soup. The problem reveals itself when you cook. When you take those refrigerated potatoes and fry them, bake them, air fry them, roast them, or grill them, any cooking method that raises their internal temperature above 248 degrees Fahrenheit, those newly formed reducing sugars react with an amino acid called asparagine, which occurs naturally in potatoes. The result of that chemical reaction is acrylamide. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies acrylamide as a probable human carcinogen. The FDA has issued specific guidance on this exact issue. Let me read you their exact words. Do not store raw potatoes in the refrigerator because it can increase acrylamide formation during cooking. Let me say that again. The FDA explicitly advises against storing raw potatoes in your fridge. The solution is simple. Keep potatoes in a cool, dark, well-ventilated place outside the refrigerator. A pantry, a cellar, a cupboard away from the stove. That's it. That one tiny change in your food storage habits can make a meaningful difference in your family's long-term health. But protecting your family from acrylamide won't help you if, out of sheer convenience, you make the mistake I'm about to show you next. Food number 6. Opened canned foods, stored in the can. You know what I'm talking about. You open a can of corn for dinner. You only need half. So you put the lid back on. Maybe you cover it with a piece of aluminum foil. Maybe you just set the metal lid back in place and you stick the whole thing in the refrigerator. Tomorrow you'll use the rest. Convenient, efficient, no extra dishes to wash. Major, dangerous mistake. Here's what happens inside that can once it's opened. Most food cans are made of tin-coated steel or aluminum. That's fine as long as the can remains sealed. The moment you break that seal, the moment you pop the lid and expose the interior to oxygen, you initiate a chemical reaction. The metal reacts with the oxygen in the air and with the natural acids present in the food. Tiny particles of metal begin to migrate from the can's interior surface into your food. You might notice this as a metallic taste. that faint, unpleasant flavor of tin or iron that sometimes shows up in leftover canned goods. But the taste isn't the real problem. The problem is chemical contamination, and that's not even the worst part. Many food cans, especially older ones, and especially certain brands that have been slow to update their manufacturing processes, still contain BPA, bisphenol A, in their inner lining. BPA is an endocrine disruptor. In plain English, that means it interferes with your body's hormonal systems. Even in small amounts, even from occasional exposure, BPA has been linked to long-term health issues, including reduced testosterone, fertility problems, metabolic disorders, and certain cancers. You start feeling tired all the time. You can't figure out why things aren't working like they used to. You blame stress, age, genetics, never suspecting that the half-empty can of beans in your refrigerator might be part of the puzzle. The golden rule is almost too simple to believe. As soon as you open a can, immediately transfer the contents to a glass container or a BPA-free silicone container with a tight sealing lid. Then refrigerate. That's it. That's the whole fix. 5 seconds of extra effort to eliminate metal contamination and BPA exposure entirely. If the metal contamination already worried you, wait until you hear how our next item can turn perfectly safe foods into a bacterial bomb, with the danger doubling each day it sits. Food number 5, old leftovers. That pot of rice from 3 days ago. That container of beans you forgot in the back of the fridge. That casserole you made on Sunday that somehow survived until Thursday. You look at it, sniff it, don't notice anything obviously wrong, and think to yourself, it's in the refrigerator, it's cold, it's fine. Not exactly. Refrigerators slow bacterial growth. They do not stop it entirely. And time is brutally unforgiving with certain foods, especially rice, beans, pasta, and other starchy or protein-rich dishes. Here's what you need to know about a particularly sneaky bacterium called Bacillus cereus. It's everywhere. It's in soil. It's in dust. It's in raw rice and dried beans. And crucially, it forms spores that survive cooking temperatures. You can boil your rice thoroughly, steam it, fry it. The Bacillus cereus spores will survive. Then, as the cooked food sits in your refrigerator, those spores germinate. The bacteria multiply, and as they multiply, they release toxins that heat won't destroy. You can reheat that rice until it's steaming hot, and the toxins will remain. What happens if you eat it? Intense vomiting, severe diarrhea, the kind of food poisoning that has you questioning every life choice that led to this moment. And here's the kicker. Bacillus cereus doesn't spoil the taste or smell of food. You won't know it's there until hours after you've eaten it. The risk isn't small. Studies show that your odds of serious food poisoning double after food has been in the refrigerator for 5 days. The bottom line is simple. Leftovers, especially those high in starch, rice, pasta, potatoes, or protein, meat, eggs, beans, should be eaten within 3 to 4 days. If they're older than that, throw them out. Don't sniff them. Don't taste them. Throw them out. Better safe than sorry. Food number 4, eggs. Yes, eggs, specifically where most people store them. Walk into almost any kitchen and open the refrigerator door. What do you see built into that door? Little plastic egg cups, little oval depressions perfectly shaped to hold a dozen eggs. Many refrigerators actually come with these from the factory. A cute, convenient, seemingly designed for purpose egg rack right there on the door. That is one of the worst places in the entire refrigerator to store eggs. Here's why. Every time you open your refrigerator door, every single time, cold air spills out and room temperature air rushes in. The door experiences the most dramatic temperature swings of any part of the refrigerator. Those eggs sitting in the door, they warm up slightly each time you open the fridge. Then they cool down again when you close it. Then warm up, then cool down. This constant fluctuation is paradise for bacteria. Each warming cycle gives any bacteria present on the eggshell an opportunity to multiply. Each cooling cycle doesn't kill them, it just slows them down until the next warm-up. In the United States, both the USDA and the FDA have issued clear, unambiguous guidance on egg storage. Keep eggs in their original carton. Store that carton in the coldest part of the refrigerator, usually the main compartment on a middle or lower shelf, not the door. Maintain a consistent temperature at or below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees Celsius. And don't wash eggs before storing them. Commercial eggs in the US have already been washed, which removes the natural protective coating, making refrigeration even more critical. Don't underestimate salmonella. According to CDC data, salmonella bacteria cause approximately 1.35 million infections, 26,500 hospitalizations, and 420 deaths every single year in the United States alone. The vast majority of those cases are linked to contaminated food, and eggs are a major vector. Proper storage isn't optional, it's a matter of basic food safety. Food number 3, acidic sources in glass jars with enameled or painted labels. This one sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? Glass is inert, glass is safe, glass is the gold standard for food storage. Every food safety expert I've ever spoken with agrees. Glass is better than plastic, better than metal, better than almost any other container material. I agree completely. But the trap isn't in the glass itself. The trap is in something you probably barely notice, something most people look at every single day and never think twice about. That pretty design on the jar, that colorful label printed directly onto the glass, that decorative pattern, that brand logo, that fancy script text. It's beautiful, it's appealing, and it might be poisoning you. Many glass jars, especially the ones that food comes in originally, the ones we wash out and reuse for storage, have enameled or painted labels and markings applied directly to the glass surface. Those colorful enamels often contain heavy metals, including lead. Here's where it gets scary. When you store acidic foods in these jars, homemade tomato sauce, lemon juice, vinaigrettes, pickled vegetables, ceviche, anything with vinegar or citrus, the acid reacts chemically with the enamel. That reaction can cause lead and other toxic metals to migrate from the painted surface of the jar directly into your food, not into the air, not onto your hands, into your food, the food you're about to feed your family. Lead is an extremely dangerous heavy metal. It accumulates in your body over time, your bones, your teeth, your soft tissues. Once it's in, it's very difficult to remove. Lead causes irreversible neurological damage. In children, it causes developmental delays, learning disabilities, and behavioral problems. In adults, it causes high blood pressure, joint pain, memory loss, and anemia. In pregnant women, it crosses the placenta and damages the developing fetus. You thought you were protecting your family by using glass instead of plastic. You were trying to do the right thing, and unknowingly you might have introduced lead into your kitchen. So today, right after you finish this video, go check your glass containers. Look at every jar you use for food storage. If you're going to reuse jars, especially for acidic foods, make sure they are smooth, clear glass with no enamel, no paint, no printed markings on the surface, no designs, no logos, nothing but clean, transparent, unadorned glass. Prefer completely smooth glass. If you use ceramic containers, choose certified food-safe glazed ceramics that have been tested for heavy metal leaching. Food number 2, processed meat sausage, ham, hot dogs, bacon, salami, pepperoni, deli turkey, corned beef, prosciutto, bologna. These items that seem so handy, so convenient, so tasty for breakfast, lunch, snacks, and charcuterie boards are silent traps. They sit there in your refrigerator drawer, neatly stacked and wrapped, looking harmless, looking like food, looking like convenience. The studies are overwhelming. Research involving more than 500,000 participants, including massive long-term studies like UK Biobank and multiple NIH-funded cohorts, has confirmed the same finding over and over again. Processed meat consumption raises colorectal cancer risk by 18% for every 50 grams consumed daily. That's about 2 slices of ham or 1 hot dog every day, day after day, an 18% increase in cancer risk from that single serving. And the worst part, most people don't consume 50 grams. According to consumption data, many people consume 47% more than the upper safe limit, nearly double the threshold at which risk becomes statistically significant. That means we're exposing ourselves to very high, very real, entirely avoidable cancer risk day after day, year after year, without ever realizing the weight of that choice. Processed meat is classified as a Group 1 carcinogen by the IARC, the same category as tobacco smoking and asbestos. Let me be clear, that doesn't mean eating a hot dog is as dangerous as smoking a pack of cigarettes. Classification refers to the strength of the evidence that something causes cancer, not to how much cancer it causes. But it does mean the evidence is conclusive. Processed meat causes cancer, period. What to do? Drastically cut processed meat. Treat it as an occasional indulgence, not a daily staple. Choose fresh meats prepared at home. Cook chicken breasts instead of buying deli turkey. Grill fresh pork chops instead of frying bacon. Make burgers from ground beef instead of heating frozen sausage patties. Changing habits isn't easy. No one knows that better than I do. But your health and your family's health are worth every effort. Think about this the next time you shop. Now, the next one is going to shock you. I guarantee it. Food number 1, the top of our list, hiding in your freezer. Right now, this one is in your freezer, not your refrigerator, your freezer. It's the foam tray that your meat comes on, that white, squishy, absorbent pad underneath every package of ground beef, chicken thighs, pork chops, and steaks from the supermarket. The one you barely notice, the one you probably never think about. This one was in my own freezer until very recently. I didn't know. I read everything. I study food safety obsessively. Right there, lurking beneath your frozen meat, is a silent poison. That foam tray is made of polystyrene. Polystyrene contains styrene. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies styrene as a Group 2B carcinogen, possibly carcinogenic to humans. That's concerning enough on its own. But the bigger problem isn't just that the tray contains styrene. The problem is what happens while the meat sits on that tray, especially during frozen storage. Recent reports from agencies including the FDA 2014 and the Center for Environmental Health 2024 have revealed something alarming. Residual styrene gradually migrates from the foam tray into fatty foods like meat. The migration happens slowly, continuously. Detectable levels of styrene in the meat rise significantly the longer it's stored. A month in the freezer, more migration. 3 months, even more. The styrene doesn't stay put in the tray. It leaves. It leaks from the foam and seeps into the meat. Studies published in peer-reviewed journals like Food Additives and Contaminants have demonstrated that cumulative exposure from this kind of plastic packaging adds to detectable styrene in human blood. A silent, constant, incredibly common source of contamination that almost no one knows about. Styrene is a silent thief. It leaves the foam tray, crosses into the meat, and goes straight to your plate. And here's where it gets even worse. When you're in a hurry to defrost ground beef or steaks for dinner, what do? You take that foam tray, still wrapped in plastic, and you stick it in the microwave. Maybe you cover it with PVC cling film to prevent splatter. Then you blast it on high for a few minutes. That mistake releases 2 toxins at once, styrene from the foam tray and phthalates from the PVC cling film. Both are endocrine disruptors. Both interfere with your hormonal systems. Both accumulate in your body over time. I know, jaw on the floor. The fix is simple. It takes almost all no effort, and you can do it right now, today, before you buy another package of meat. Before freezing your meat, remove it from the foam tray immediately. Take the meat out, throw the foam tray away. Transfer the meat to a glass container with no painted labels, please. Remember what we learned. Or a BPA-free silicone container. Then freeze. That's it. That one simple step drastically reduces your family's exposure to styrene migration. And look, if I didn't know this, most people definitely don't know it. Share this alert with your family and friends. They need to know. Their children need to be protected from this hidden source of chemical exposure. Now you have the knowledge. Now your family wins. Which of these 7 surprised you the most? Was it the potatoes, the painted glass jars, the foam trays? Comment below and let me know. Hit like. Share this video with everyone you know who owns a refrigerator, which is to say everyone you know. Subscribe for more life-saving information that the food industry doesn't want you to have.